This is the Everyday AI Show, the everyday podcast where we simplify AI and bring its power to your fingertips. Listen daily for practical advice to boost your career, business, and everyday life.
Big tech is fighting each other for every scrap of the AI pie. I mean, Google just clapped back hard at OpenAI. Amazon invested another $4 billion into an artificial intelligence company. OpenAI is going after an even bigger piece of the market, and Apple is bringing a smarter Siri to us all, powered by large language models, but probably not as soon as you might think. We're going to be talking about those stories and a lot more today on Everyday AI. What's going on, y'all? My name is Jordan Wilson. I'm the host, and this Everyday AI thing, it is for you. It is your daily live stream podcast and free daily newsletter, helping us all not just keep up with what's going on in the world of AI, but how we can all actually get ahead and use all of this information to grow our companies and to grow our careers. If that sounds like you, you are definitely in the right place. If you're joining us on the podcast, thank you as always. Make sure to please check out your show notes for a lot of more updated information on what we're talking about today, as well as a link to our website. That's where it actually happens, youreverydayai.com. There you can first sign up for our free daily newsletter, where every single day we recap our podcast and give you a lot more information. But while you're there, check out, we have like thousands of hours of free AI content from the top leading experts in the entire world. So make sure you go check that out at youreverydayai.com. All right, y'all. This is the one-stop shop. If you can only join us once a week, Monday is probably it. Monday is where we bring you the AI news that matters. So if you don't have, 5 to 10 minutes every day to read our newsletter, or if you don't have 30-ish minutes every single day to listen to the podcast, Monday is your day. Join us. We recap everything that happened. And not only that, but what it actually means. We break it down. Yeah, luckily, by talking to the smartest people in the world on AI every day, we can kind of cut through the fluff and, sift through the noise and tell you what actually matters. So thank you to our live stream audience, like McDonald and Marie and Woozy and Tara, Philip, Samuel, Brian, Joe, Michael, who beats me here almost every day. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, if you're listening on the podcast, you can always join us live. We do this 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday, where you can ask guest questions. So without further ado, let's get into the AI news that matters for the week of November 25th. So Google has launched its latest AI experimental model, Gemini Experiential 1121, and it has grabbed the top ranking once again. So as of at least a couple of minutes ago, Google has reclaimed the top spot in the AI chatbot arena leaderboard. So right now, their newest model is accessible through the Gemini API and Google AI Studio. So the new 1121 model quickly reached the top of LM Arena's chatbot arena rankings, tying with OpenAI's GPT-4o in some instances, but also improving in others, including the ELO score. So according to Logan Kilpatrick, the product manager at Google, Gemini 1121 features key advancements in coding proficiency, reasoning abilities, and visual processing capabilities. So these enhancements build upon the strengths of previous models, offering more sophisticated solutions for complex problems across various fields. So the release follows the success of Google's Gemini 1114. Yeah, a big whopping 1 week between releases here. But Google, talk about this here in a second. They released 2 big updates to Gemini because OpenAI sneaked one there in between to reclaim the top spot of the leaderboard. I'll probably do a story about this in the coming weeks, but it seems like a lot of the big AI labs are maybe just overfitting their models for these arena benchmarks. So if you haven't heard of the kind of AI chatbot arena is the unofficial name, it's where millions of users vote blindly on different different models. So you can put in a prompt, you can see outputs from 2 different models. They're unnamed. You choose which one wins, and that more or less leads to what's called an ELO score. So a lot of the big AI labs are constantly keeping an eye out on this because, yes, there are, benchmarks, right? We have your MMLU benchmarks and all these other benchmarks, but, ultimately it's what do humans prefer? So there has been a lot of competition as of late. We've gone from OpenAI to Google to OpenAI to Google, topping the leaderboard over the course of 8 days. So it's been a fury of action. But that's not all with Google. So according to leaked screenshots, Google plans to release Gemini 2 potentially this year, continuing its trajectory of innovation in AI. Also, Google's Gemini chatbot has introduced a new memory feature, similar to the memory feature in OpenAI for paid users, and it allows Gemini to remember personal information, whatever you type in there, right? Food preferences, tailored responses, whatever, right? But the difference is with Google Gemini, you can go in and add this. So a couple of points here about the new Gemini 1121 model. It is not available on the front end. All right, so if you are a everyday user, like me, like so many of us out there, if you log on to, gemini.google.com, you are not using this new most powerful model. So, for whatever reason, Google on the front end of Google Gemini is usually using models about 6 to 9 months old. All right, so if you do want to use this newest, most powerful 1121 model, you are limited to either using it via the API or Google's AI Studio, which is really more technical. The other thing that most people don't understand about Google AI Studio is you can't really opt out of training on your data there. So it is more experimental. The AI Studio, it's more of like a sandbox. It is not for production. So if you're using it that way, you can't necessarily safeguard your data if you are trying to combine the 1121 Gemini model with your data. Just something to keep in mind. All right. Next piece of AI news. There's a new reasoning model on the block, and it's not from OpenAI. So DeepSeek has unveiled R1 Lite Preview, a new high-performance reasoning AI model. So Chinese AI startup DeepSeek has launched the R1 Lite Preview. Love the names of these models, right? So it's a reasoning-focused large language model. So the model is exclusively available through DeepSeek Chat and is noted for its high-level reasoning capabilities, and it may be better than OpenAI's O1 model, at least according to the company. So according to DeepSeek, R1 Lite Preview rivals and sometimes surpasses the performance of OpenAI's O1 Preview model, which was released in September of this year. So the new model from DeepSeek is designed for tasks requiring logical inference, mathematical reasoning, and real-time problem solving. So DeepSeek claims that the model exceeds OpenAI's O1 preview level performance on benchmarks like AIME and math. So users can observe the model's reasoning process in real time. That's a big differentiator. So number one, this is from a Chinese company, not from the US. And number two, you can see its kind of chain of thought reasoning in a much more detailed way than you can with OpenAI's O1 preview. So with OpenAI's O1 preview, you can still kind of toggle to see what the model is doing under the hood, but you can't really see it in a detailed fashion. It's more of a summary. So if you are brand new to reasoning models, that's okay. Almost all of us are. But here's what I like to tell people. So to really get the most out of large language models, a lot of human intelligence is required, right? You have to interact with the model. You really have to steer it. So I like to say, traditional models. So, you could say GPT-based models, Gemini, Claude, etc. Right? You can kind of give it a destination, but at the same time, you still have to build the road and also drive. with these new reasoning models, it kind of does it for you. Think of it more of like, oh, this is, this is like a Tesla autopilot, right? So you give it the destination and it kind of does the driving and builds the roads in real time. So that may or may not get you where you want to go, but these models are very new. They are very fresh. So essentially, the O1 model from OpenAI and then the new DeepSeek model, R1 Lite preview, they kind of do this chain of thought reasoning under the hood, right? So as long as you still give it some direct guidelines, it can actually do, these reasoning models can do a fairly good job, especially in some of those kind of areas that we talked about. So math, problem solving, anything that requires logical inference, that's huge. So DeepSeek has not yet released the full code for third-party analysis or provided an API for independent testing. That's huge. At least with OpenAI, when we saw the O1 preview and O1 mini releases, you also got it via the API. So right now you do not have that with this new DeepSeek product. So the new R1 Lite preview is accessible right now for free on DeepSeek Chat with a daily limit of 50 messages in its advanced deep think mode. So if you are using, or if you want to see the capabilities of the R1 Lite preview, you will use the deep think mode in DeepSeek Chat. So many buzzwords, y'all. So DeepSeek's plans to release open source versions of its R1 series models and related APIs, continuing its support for the open source AI community. So previous models like DeepSeek V2.5, so that is not its reasoning model, but its normal model, have been praised for their capabilities in language processing and coding. Yeah, what Michael says.
Are you still running in circles trying to figure out how to actually grow your business with AI? Maybe your company has been tinkering with large language models for a year or more, but can't really get traction to find ROI on Gen AI. Hey, this is Jordan Wilson, host of this very podcast. Companies like Adobe, Microsoft, and NVIDIA have partnered with us because they trust our expertise in educating the masses around generative AI to get ahead. And some of the most innovative companies in the country hire us to help with their AI strategy and to train hundreds of their employees on how to use Gen AI. So whether you're looking for ChatGPT training for thousands or just need help building your front-end AI strategy, you can partner with us too, just like some of the biggest companies in the world do. Go to youreverydayai.com/partner to get in contact with our team, or you can just click on the partner section of our website. We'll help you stop running in those AI circles and help get your team ahead and build a straight path to ROI on Gen AI.
China's coming in hot here. Philip saying large language models don't have emotions, right? Yeah, that's another episode for another day, Philip. But I will say this: you'd be surprised at the answer without getting into it a little bit much, or without getting it into a little bit more. So another question here from our live stream audience. Thanks for all the questions this morning, guys. It's always nice. It's always nice when we can get some questions in, even on the AI news. So McDonald asking, what is MMLU? That is the Massive Multitask Language Understanding. It is essentially a benchmark. It is a ACT for large language models. All right. Let's keep this thing going. More AI news. So much this week, y'all. So OpenAI also updated its GPT-4o model, like we talked about with its 11.20 release, and they've quietly rolled out a new creative writing update for ChatGPT in this new model, enhancing its ability to generate more natural and engaging content. So the writing improvement was part of OpenAI's 11.20 release update, and they updated GPT-4o with some benchmark improvements, and like we said, very briefly reclaimed the top spot on the AI chatbot leaderboard. Like we said, that lasted only a day with their new 11.20 release as Google released their 11.21 Gemini release. And also, y'all, We called this. We called this a week before it happened. We said within a day, OpenAI would have a new model to outperform Google. We didn't see Google clapping back so hard immediately, though. So in addition to these creative writing enhancements, ChatGPT 4o now offers better handling of uploaded files, offering deeper insights and more comprehensive responses. So the model's ability to analyze and work with spreadsheets and images has also reportedly been significantly improved, according to OpenAI. So users have noted the model's advanced capabilities, with one user on Twitter claiming that it rivals. I'll have to find this tweet. Claiming that it rivals Eminem in crafting complex rap lyrics. Yeah, someone online. I wish I did this because I did this probably about a year and a half ago when new models came out. I would have it create essentially a rap in the tone of Eminem, describing large language models. And it seems like someone did something similar and then took those lyrics into Suno's new V4. And pretty impressive. I listened to it. So the important thing here with OpenAI, this update is automatic. So you don't have to, just be using the API. You don't have to just be using OpenAI's playground. If you are using the front end of ChatGPT, you will start seeing this new 11.20 release update. So it's not going to be called, GPT-4o 11.20. So at least what OpenAI said is their new kind of model naming is it will just be GPT-4o latest. But then if you look on the back end, you will see the date. So it is automatically refreshed when OpenAI does release their models, unlike Google, where you're not using it on the front end, right? If you go into the chat interface. So let's keep talking about OpenAI. I'm sorry, y'all. They made a lot of news this week. So because they're not just trying to compete with large language models, they're reportedly trying to compete in the browser, y'all. What about that? Google claps back by retaking the top spot on the arena board. And then right thereafter, we see reports that OpenAI says, we're actually going to be releasing a browser now. Well, they didn't actually say that, but that's what reports said. So OpenAI is reportedly developing a new web browser that could challenge Google Chrome, and that's according to the information. So this initiative is obviously newsworthy as it signifies potential disruption in the browser market, traditionally dominated by Google Chrome. So this project involves ex-Google developers Ben Goodger and Darren Fisher, who were part of the original Chrome team and have reportedly now joined OpenAI. So the new browser is expected, according to reports, to include built-in support, obviously, for ChatGPT and GPT search, enhancing user interaction with AI. So despite these developments, the information reports that a functional version of the browser is not expected anytime soon. So Google Chrome currently holds the significant market share with about 65% on desktop and 68% on Google, as per StatCounter's October data. Here's why it's also extremely newsworthy and interesting, because the US government has proposed that Google divest its Chrome business. So yeah, the US government essentially said, yo, Google, you're too big. You can't own the Chrome browser anymore. So it should be interesting how that one actually plays out, but it's pretty timely here. So Google may have to divest its holding in the Chrome browser because the US government said that kind of constitutes an illegal monopoly, which could impact the browser landscape. So just in time for this, we see the news or the reporting from the information saying that OpenAI is working on a browser. Also, OpenAI is in talks with Samsung to integrate AI features into smartphones, similar to the partnership that Apple and OpenAI have. So, speaking of that exact partnership, what the heck is going on? We heard announcements months ago from Apple that we were soon going to be getting a much smarter Siri. Well, you might have to wait until 2026. Yeah, that's not a glitch. 2026. 2026. All right. So Apple is reportedly developing a significant AI upgrade for Siri, aiming to make it more conversational and competitive with ChatGPT's advanced voice mode and Google Gemini's Live, as reported by Bloomberg. So the new Siri assistant is tentatively named LLM Siri. Oh gosh. Anyways, I can't stand the naming today or this week. I don't know why, y'all. So the new assistant is tentatively named LLM Siri. Yikes. And it will utilize Apple's AI models to enable more natural sounding interactions. So although Apple might announce these plans next year, the complete transition to the new system is projected for spring of 2026. Oof. All right, so Apple plans to enhance Siri's capabilities, allowing it to handle more complex tasks and interact with third-party apps through an extended use of app intents. So the overhaul will include features like summarizing and writing text using Apple Intelligence. So Apple has been cautious with its AI rollout, to put it nicely, only recently integrating ChatGPT into Siri as part of the iOS 18.12 beta. So according to reports, this new LLM Siri may not be debuting until iOS 19. So yeah, just buckle up. It's going to be a while. And upcoming features for Siri include understanding on-screen content and performing actions with apps, which that piece is expected to launch next year. Let me just be honest here. I don't know how Apple missed the boat by this long. It's not like they were sprinting, seeing the boat leaving shore. The boat has already made like 8 round trips back and forth, and and Apple has missed all of them. So I do understand, and you have to applaud Apple's approach to artificial intelligence. And yes, I'm calling that artificial intelligence and not Apple intelligence. Can we please not try to claim intelligence? Can we please, right? And there was reports that, Microsoft was going to call its Copilot Microsoft Intelligence. I'm glad I didn't see that at Microsoft Ignite or hear any rumblings about this, but Apple, you are so late to the party. Bringing this by 2026. I mean, that's like, a company saying, oh, we're bringing a touchscreen phone in 2023. It's like, y'all, like we've had it for a decade. Like we're snoozing by now. You could say, oh, better late than never. I don't know. Apple, you're actually embarrassingly late here. But like I said, you do have to applaud Apple for its approach. I do think they take security way more seriously than the other big tech companies. Not saying they're not taking it, the other tech companies aren't taking it seriously, but Apple is going a couple steps further, but at what cost? Again, so late here, so late, right? We've only seen, very simple text summarization come out via, some 18.1 in the iOS or Mac OS 15.1. And y'all, this is stuff that we had pre-ChatGPT. This is stuff that we had in 2020. So, Apple's latest AI that they actually have publicly available for everyone to use is technology that is more than 4 years old. It is the least impressive piece of AI that I've seen from a $1 trillion company probably ever. To call it underwhelming is giving them a lot of credit. Sorry, I don't want to be harsh, y'all, but that's just the reality of it. All right. Next, 20. Everyone in the comments this morning is saying 2026 question mark. That was not a glitch there, y'all. Joe saying Apple needs to reevaluate Apple Intelligence for branding because nothing I have seen in the past year has been anywhere near intelligent. Joe, I would agree with you there. All right. Let's talk about another big $1 trillion market cap company that's taking a different approach to AI. Amazon's throwing money at the problem. Don't hate the approach. So Amazon has invested another $4 billion into Anthropic. So Amazon has just announced another significant investment of $4 billion into Anthropic, the creator of Claude AI, bringing the total funding to $8 billion. So Amazon has invested $8 billion into Anthropic, which I believe makes it the second largest partnership for a large language model maker, with Microsoft reportedly investing around $14 billion into OpenAI over the past few years. So now you have Amazon upping its kind of chips in the pot to $8 billion into Claude's pile. So this investment is part of a strategic partnership where Amazon Web Services, AWS from Amazon, will become Anthropic's primary training partner, utilizing AWS's Trainium and Inferentia chips for future AI models. Yeah, Amazon's got some new AI chips that Claude will be using for training. So this collaboration aligns with reports that Anthropic's Claude AI will power Amazon's revamped Alexa voice assistant, slated for release in 2025. Will we actually get a smart AI assistant by then? Maybe. All right, actually more on that here in a second. So the improved Alexa is expected to offer a more conversational tone akin to OpenAI's ChatGPT advanced voice mode, although early beta tests indicated some performance issues. So Amazon's investments and partnership with Anthropic underscore its efforts to remain competitive in the AI sector, particularly against rivals like Microsoft and OpenAI. So according to The Verge, the improved Alexa reportedly performed better with Claude AI powering it compared to Amazon's in-house models. That's not hard, suggesting a potential leap in user experience for Alexa users. Yeah, you can't really ask Alexa anything except maybe the time and temperature. And even there, you're rolling the dice. Using traditional, quote unquote, smart assistants now, it's like pulling my hair out. So I don't want to do it because I still have my hair and I don't want to lose it. So that's why I don't use Amazon or Alexa or Siri. So despite the advancements, some beta users reportedly said that the new Alexa struggled with basic tasks such as turning on lights, highlighting ongoing AI challenges in AI development. And let me tell you something, y'all. So, we just saw it there. Siri, the large language model Siri, not until 2026. The new Claude-powered Alexa, probably not until 2025, which, I know that's a couple weeks, but it could be toward the latter part of the year. Advanced voice mode is great. It is by far the most capable model if you are just looking at its abilities on the surface to respond in real time and be a natural kind of voice, right? And, Microsoft is also tapping into that voice model as well. So the new GPT-4o kind of voice capabilities. However, the OpenAI and Microsoft versions lack real-time access to the web. Guess who doesn't actually? Google Gemini Live. I finally found a consumer-facing AI product from Google, aside from Notebook LM, that I think is a leader in the space. So I did do a review of that last week in our newsletter, I think on our YouTube channel. That's why you got to read the newsletter, y'all. I was actually extremely impressed. So even though the new Google Gemini Live is not quite as natural sounding, the latency between how you speak and when the Gemini Live speaks is not as good as voice advanced mode from ChatGPT. Unfortunately, advanced voice mode is not connected to the web. So you are working with old data, whereas the new Gemini Live, which is now actually available for the iPhone, for iPhone users out there like myself, it is connected to the internet. So that piece is huge. All right. Let's keep the AI news recap train going. So according to reports, OpenAI has quote unquote accidentally erased crucial evidence sought by the New York Times in a copyright lawsuit, causing significant setbacks in the case. So the reported deletion occurred while attorneys from the New York Times and the New York Daily News were reviewing two large caches of training data files provided by OpenAI earlier this month. So these files were reportedly intended to support OpenAI's defense that publicly published articles were fair game for training AI models. The accidental deletion, though, wiped out all search data in one of the caches, forcing the newspaper's attorneys to retrace their steps and lose a week's worth of work. Brutal. So although OpenAI did manage to recover most of the data, the folder structure and file names were permanently lost, hindering the attorney's ability to track where the copied articles were reportedly used in building OpenAI's models. The attorneys have requested that OpenAI take responsibility for redoing the search, as they believe OpenAI is best positioned to navigate its own data sets. So despite acknowledging the erasure was likely unintentional, the deletion has delayed the newspaper's efforts to build their case. OpenAI has indicated plans to respond to the attorney's request, with a spokesperson stating to Wired, quote, "We disagree with the characterizations made and will file our response soon." All right, end quote. Yeah, I've been saying this since this lawsuit has been dragging on now for nearly a year. It was reported in December of 2023. So here we are almost a year later, still talking about this lawsuit. And I said it then, and I will say it again. I don't see anything else happening here except a massive settlement that OpenAI is going to have to pay the New York Times, even though, if I'm being honest, the New York Times had probably one of the worst arguments in their opening briefs that I've ever seen. Granted, I'm not a lawyer. I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express once, but I read through the New York Times' entire case, and it seemed, at least at the time, they did not understand how large language models work, which is not a good not making a good case when you are trying to argue against a large language model maker. And that is why OpenAI has essentially responded to OpenAI in the last year by just kind of scoffing. Because if I'm the lawyers at OpenAI and the OpenAI leadership team, I saw what the New York Times initially put out, and I'm laughing at it because it shows a complete and utter disregard for understanding the basics of a large language model. And I also, let me be transparent here, I'm a former journalist, right? But I also cover AI every single day, and ChatGPT is my favorite, at least, kind of online AI chatbot. So, putting all my, all my biases, or potential biases in the ring there, the New York Times has completely just dropped the bag on this case. But a nice little, new little wrinkle here with this news. All right, couple more pieces of AI news. OpenAI has opened up its advanced voice mode to web users. So ChatGPT's advanced voice mode, which I just referenced, is now available to paid users on the web and in the ChatGPT app. So the expansion is currently available for ChatGPT's paying customers, including Plus, Enterprise, Teams, and EDU subscribers, enhancing the chatbot's usability with more natural, real-time conversations. So the feature was the advanced voice mode feature was initially launched in iOS and Android apps in September. But if you wanted to use the advanced voice mode, you could only do it on your phone. So now, as of a couple of days ago, it is available in the ChatGPT desktop app as well as online. If you're not seeing it online, here's what I suggest you do. Yes, I'm going to be your ITT guy here for a second. Log out of your browser, clear all your browser cookies, cache, etc. Then try logging in. If that doesn't work, open it in an incognito window or private window, and it should work. It worked for me. I have it on access to it on in the web and on the desktop version, but you will need to update the desktop version to get access. All right. Moving on, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has announced his intention to repeal President Joe Biden's executive order on artificial intelligence, highlighting a potential shift in U.S. policy as Trump prepares to take office in January 2025. So this announcement is very timely as it coincides with a global AI safety effort, as these talks were held in San Francisco this past week, where world leaders and tech industry giants gathered to discuss AI's transformative potential and the risks involved. So leaders from countries worldwide, including Canada, Kenya, Singapore, the UK, and the European Union, met to establish international safety protocols for AI, underscoring the importance of global cooperation in addressing AI challenges. So this kind of global AI safety event was organized by the International Network of AI Safety Institutes and hosted by the Biden administration, reflecting a commitment to integrating safety and ethical considerations into AI development. So these discussions are part of broader efforts to ensure that AI advancements do not compromise public safety or privacy, with significant backing from major companies like Amazon, Google, and Microsoft for codifying AI measures into law. So the differing approaches of Trump and Biden to AI policy could significantly influence the direction of AI innovation and regulation in the US, impacting companies and individuals involved in the field. So we did cover this a little bit last week as well, talking about how Trump's proposed tariffs could actually affect some of the biggest, not just tech companies, but everyone with those tariffs could be impacting prices. All right. And our last piece of AI news for the day, y'all. I don't know why so many people are sleeping on what Microsoft announced, which I don't understand, because guess what? There's a good chance if you are listening to this right now for work, you use a Microsoft PC, right? And guess what? Microsoft just changed how PCs work. All right, so Microsoft announced more than 90 new AI-powered features for Copilot at the Ignite conference in Chicago, marking a significant advancement in AI integration into workplace tools. So first, have to give a quick shout out to both We Communications and Microsoft for hosting myself and the Everyday AI show at Microsoft Ignite last week. Really cool birthday present for me, being able to technically beat Microsoft with their own announcement. So if you tuned in on Tuesday, you were actually the first audience in the world that got access to everything that Microsoft was announcing before they even started the keynote. But here's a quick rundown of what's new with AI and with Copilot with Windows announcements. So the biggest thing, new Copilot Studio autonomous agents that are able to automate routine tasks, reducing manual intervention and increasing efficiency. SharePoint. Now you have one-click SharePoint agents that allow employees to gain insights just from specific SharePoint content, providing tailored solutions. Also, FYI, so many of these kind of new features that I'm talking about do require that your organization has or gives all its employees access. So, this isn't, the default. If you have, Microsoft Office 365, right? You have to have Copilot. So you have to have Microsoft 365 Copilot licenses, which are $30 a month, enabled for all of your users to access all of these new features. So, which is funny, so few enterprise organizations are actually doing this, which is mind-boggling, but that's another podcast for another day. All right, let's get back to what's new. So the SharePoint agents, I think, are great. That is literally bringing a state-of-the-art RAG model with zero technical capabilities. So, I kind of talk about Notebook LM a lot on the show because I think it's friggin' amazing. I think this is kind of what SharePoint agents could do, right? Being able to, first of all SharePoint sites now have an agent built in by default, which I think is really cool. But then you can also modify just certain files or just certain folders in a SharePoint site and create an agent like that with no coding and no really technical capabilities. I was actually talking with the SharePoint team, the people that were actually building it. They were showing me some of the behind the scenes, some of the stuff that's coming, and is pretty interesting. I think you're going to want to start using it. So here's what else is new. Microsoft 365 Copilot Actions. These introduce pre-built shortcuts meant to simplify task delegation. So essentially what that is, think of it like a combination between an advanced prompt maker and something like Zapier. Or programmable AI. So essentially, with the new Microsoft 365 Copilot Actions, it gives you a list of drop downs where you can select team members, you can select different files, and then you can also schedule something. So let's say you get the same email every Monday that asks you to recap all these files from your OneDrive, from your SharePoint, from your Teams meetings, etc. And maybe that's like 70% of what you do for that week. Well, you can now literally with Copilot agents automate all that. or with Microsoft 365 Copilot Actions. So it is a way to schedule ongoing AI Copilot powered automations that are triggered by a certain event that you set. So it can be, you can always just run it weekly. You can have it set by any trigger as well, anytime something happens in your organization. Copilot agents. Yeah, more that's new here. We're not going to go over all 90, but new Copilot agents in Teams offer real-time note-taking, interpretation in multiple languages, and enhanced meeting experiences. Yeah, you can literally, again, if your team has access to Microsoft 365 Copilot, you will soon be able to speak in another language in real time, which still blows my mind. So Copilot in PowerPoint, yeah, let's keep it going. It has introduced a new addition to its narrative builder for creating presentations from a single source document, with also the ability to instantly translate that PowerPoint, which you can build on your brand presets, into 40 languages. Copilot Pages now supports rich artifacts like code, charts, and diagrams, providing a collaborative document experience. And we're actually going to have a dedicated show on that, where we talked with the person, one of the people in charge of Copilot Pages. That's going to be dropping here soon. Also, we saw some hardware-powered announcements from Microsoft with the Windows 365 Link. So that is a new hardware device that connects to a cloud PC, offering a cost-effective solution for keeping systems up to date. So yeah, it is a $349. Think of it like kind of like a PC, but it can't run on its own. It is a cloud PC, but a physical device for $349. I think this is going to be great for large enterprises to essentially cut down on the kind of your ongoing costs, right? So essentially you have to have a subscription. So you pay to give it power monthly, but instead of, if you, especially if you're doing a lot of AI power tasks, instead of giving 1,000 people, a PC that costs $2,000, instead you can buy this new Microsoft 365 Link for, I believe, $349. And then you pay a monthly fee depending on how much compute or how much power or how much memory each user needs. So it's a very easy way, I think, and ingenious to quickly scale. But like I said, it's not a standalone device. It won't work without that. So think of it as kind of a cloud PC. Also, Microsoft released or announced Copilot Analytics, which provides tools to measure AI's business impact. So everyone's always talking about what's the ROI on AI? Well, Microsoft is trying to answer those questions with Copilot Analytics. And then we also saw, I dug in a little more. I found all the right people at the Microsoft Ignite conference and talked to, and I did find out the recall feature. Well, it actually just got rolled out Friday. I did find that out Friday, or it might have been Thursday, actually. So the recall feature, which has gone, it's kind of been kind of highly criticized, and people are skeptical of it. For me, I can't wait to use it. But think of it like this: if you do have a Copilot Plus PC, so it doesn't work on just any Copilot Plus PC, and you do need the Microsoft 365 Copilot subscription to use this, it essentially takes screenshots of everything that you do on your PC. It is opt-in. Don't worry, privacy advocates. You do have to opt into the service, and you can delete anything from the memory, but then essentially there, you can talk to Copilot in real time. You're like, oh man, what was that thing I saw on my computer 3 weeks ago? Was it in a Teams meeting? Was it in a PowerPoint? Was it on Edge? What was it? Well, you can just ask. What was that? What was that picture, or what was that announcement about the new product, the new coffee maker, right? And it'll bring it up, right? You don't even have to know where it was from. So pretty cool. So that is it, y'all. I do think the Microsoft Ignite announcements were pretty huge. I don't know why it wasn't getting talked a lot about, maybe because it was in Chicago, and maybe, I don't know, maybe only the tech conferences get the shine, when they go on the West Coast or they go in New York or something like that. But I mean, just monumental announcements from Microsoft that I think are going to change how we all work, because the overwhelming majority of enterprise companies out there are using Microsoft PCs. Microsoft is literally changing how PCs fundamentally work with Microsoft 365 Copilot. All right, real quick. let's go ahead and quickly recap our AI news that matters. So like we talked about, Google Gemini released a new model, Gemini 1121, that topped the rankings. Also, they'll reportedly be releasing a Gemini 2 soon, as well as they did already announce memory. DeepSeek announced a R1 Lite preview model, which is a reasoning model, a competitor to OpenAI's O1. Speaking of OpenAI, a lot of news from them. They've released a new kind of creative writing update under the hood for the new GPT-4o 1120 release. OpenAI is also reportedly venturing into web browsers to compete with Google on an even grander scale. According to reports, Apple is set to reveal a LLM Siri, but not until 2026. Amazon has invested another $4 billion into Anthropic, upping its total investment into the AI company to $8 billion. OpenAI reportedly deleted some data in their New York Times copyright lawsuit. OpenAI also has expanded its advanced voice mode to web users and to the desktop. Trump's AI policy repeal has kind of caused some AI safety concerns, and world leaders were meeting to discuss it. And Microsoft unveiled 90 plus new AI features at its Ignite conference. All right, that was a ton, y'all. I hope this was helpful. If you don't have time every single day to keep up with what's happening in the world of AI, Mondays, be there. The AI news that matters, this is your time to get caught up. But if you want to keep up every day, if you want to be able to talk in real time and ask questions to some of the leading AI experts in the world, we do this every single weekday, actually Monday through Friday. So please make sure, if you haven't already, go to youreverydayai.com, sign up for our free daily newsletter, and we'll see you back for more AI. Everyday AI. Thanks, y'all.
And that's a wrap for today's edition of Everyday AI. Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave us a rating. It helps keep us going. For a little more AI magic, visit youreverydayai.com and sign up to our daily newsletter so you don't get left behind. Go break some barriers, and we'll see you next time.